are on the standard properties of multiplication. And today we are learning about how the how multiplication works, kind of. Okay? There's 3 different properties that we need to talk about. There's the commutative property, which I like to call the flip-flop property. The flip-flop property. Because in the commutative property, that's when you say 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3, right? If I have 1, 2, 3 groups of 4, or if I have 4 groups of 3, that's 12 either way, right? Yeah. The next property is the associative property. I like to call this one the friendship property. Like, hey friend, we're friends. The associative property is the groups that you make, how you make your groups. Here's a group of friends, here's a group of friends. Groups of friends switch around and they're still going to be the same number. So I could have a problem like 2 times 3 times 5, and I could group the 2 and 3 together. And that would be the same as if I did 2 times 3 times 5 and group the 3 and 5 together to do that first. Hold on, man. So here I have 6 times 5, right? Because 2 times 3 is what? 6. 2 plus 3 would be 5. 2 times 3 is 6 times 5. What's 6 times 5? 30. Yep. And here, 3 times 5 is what? 15. And 15 times 2 is what? Is 30. 2 groups of 15. 15 plus 15 would be 30. So both ways, it equals the same thing. I can, I can put these numbers together, 2 and 3, or I can put the 3 and 5 together first. It doesn't matter what ones I group together first, I still get the same answer. So here's the important thing to remember about the commutative property. This is like the order property. And the associative property. That's like the grouping property. Here's what you need to remember. This is so important, okay? I'm going to say it, and then you're going to say it, because it's so important. Order and grouping does not matter in multiplication. Okay, now you say it.
Order and grouping does not matter in multiplication.
Yes, that's so important. It doesn't matter what order you add them. It doesn't matter how you group them. You'll get the same answer. Okay? Go ahead. Order and grouping does not matter. Okay, the next one is the distributive property. In the distributive property, I can break numbers up, right? So if I have a problem like 7 times 9, okay? Actually, let's start a little smaller. Let's start with 3 times 6, okay? So I'm going to have 3 groups of 6. All right, you see my 3 groups of 6? I have 1, 2, 3 groups. and there's 6 in each row, right? Okay, so when I do this, I can actually break up one of these numbers. I can either break up the 3 groups, or I can break up the 6 in each row. I'm gonna break up the 6 because that's a big number. I wanna make it smaller. I'm gonna break it up right here. So now I have 2 different things that I'm doing. What would be the multiplication for this first set here?
6.
What would be the multiplication sentence?
3 times 2.
I have 3 groups of 2 here, right? And what would it be for this one? I have 3 groups of,
4.
so what would be my
3 times 4.
3 times 4, right?
12.
And then if I do both of those, I can just add them together. Here I know there's 12, or 6, sorry. I know there's 6 here, and I know there's 12 here. So if I add them together, I get the same thing as 3 times 6. I broke up my 6 into 2 and 4, and then I did 3 times 2 and 4 times 2, right?
I just want to say something. So, if you have something like that, you could put 3 and 3 together and make 6, and then you can put the 2 and 4 together and make 8. But
Okay, so when I do this, I can break up just one of these numbers, okay? Let's look at another one. Let's look at 7 groups of 4. As soon as I know this go. So we have 7 groups of 4. I want you to write on your board right now. Take a second. Are you going to break up the 7 or the 4? Are you going to break it up so that you're breaking up the 7 groups into something like that? Or are you going to break it up so that you're breaking the 4 in each row into something like that? Okay, go ahead and write on your board how you would break these up. What would be your 2 equations that you get there? Okay, so Jordan broke up the 4 into 2 and 2.
I was going to do 7.
So you drew a line like down this way. Okay, so what would your equation be for this one? For this side?
14.
What's your no?
7 times 2.
7 times 2. And then what would your equation be for this side?
7 times 2.
7 times 2. That's a great way to break it up if you like doing doubles, because then you don't have to solve that one time, right? So I do 7 times 2 and 7 times 2.
And at first I was going to do 7, but then I couldn't find something to do it with, because if I did 3 times 1 would be 3, 3 times 2 would be 6. I kept trying to figure out a way to do it.
Okay. All right, so if we do 7 times 2 and 7 times 2, we know 7 times 2 is 14, right? And 7 times 2 is 14.
So 14.
So we have 14 plus 14. I don't have, or 14 times 2, right? I have 2 groups of 14.
Yeah.
Would be 28. All right? Okay. So good job. If you have any questions, come and see me.